welcome once again. Welcome to OLC. Today I have another topic for you. I have another fun, another juicy, another entertaining, another informing, another educating, whatever you call it. But I just have another topic for you. So today's topic is balancing to live in two different cultures. Pretty much the balancing to live in two cultures from different parts of the world. Pretty much living two culture and how I balance it. How do I balance to live in two cultures? So, guys, for those who don't know, I am African and I was born in Africa. My parents are originally from Burundi, but I was born in Rwanda. I grew up in Tanzania and I came here when I was just turned 17. So, I grew up the most of my life in Tanzania and America. So I would say that I had a lot of influence from Tanzania, from East Africa, from Africa, and also I had a lot of influence on American culture. I had a lot of influence on me from American culture. So how do I balance to live in those two cultures, African culture, whatever, Burundi, East African, Tanzanian, Burundian, whatever you call it, like East African cultures. How do I balance to live in African culture and American culture? So you guys, as you know, when I came from America and got here, I could barely speak English. My English was very broken. I had to learn I had to learn everything from the beginning. You know, it was really hard to feel in, and it was really hard for me to feel like fully comfortable in this environment. But I managed to learn everything I can from the language, from the culture, and now I can say I'm comfortable to live here because of what I managed to um to accomplish, what I managed to like pretty much to learn and pretty much gained and be able to like to feel comfortable in terms of languages, in terms of in terms of the living and requirements and necessities and stuff like that. So I don't have to have whatever a transit off or anything. I don't have to pretty much anything that American person can do. I can do, you know. So I'm living comfortably like this. I'm living comfortably in this environment. That's what I would say. So pretty much when I came, it was not easy, but of course, sorry, I learned everything that I needed. And now you should say like, how do you balance right now that you have your African culture and you live in American culture? So you guys, the most important is that don't forget your culture, your native culture, your native languages, your native your parents language and cultures like that. Try to keep it as much as you can because you don't know when you're gonna need that culture. You don't know how you're gonna maybe gonna go back and you're gonna need to speak to those people, and it would be better if you know their language and you can communicate with them fluent without needing a translator, you know. And at the same time, you need this American culture. You need to know the ins and out about this culture so you can be able to function here. You need to know the language. You need to know the how the system works. You need to be able to know other things to operate, you know, to pretty much to function it from day to day life like that. So you need this culture, and it's very important that you learn the language as much as you could, and learn the functionality and everything that pretty much will improve your life here. So that's why I had to learn this culture and be able to feel comfortable and to be able to connect with people and stuff like that. So I learned this culture's language for my own good, pretty much, so I can be able to be independent as I could, and form a relationship with people and feel like I belong, feel like I feel in, and at the same time, I didn't want to forget my culture. So how I did was pretty much because my parents speak my language, and they they speak they speak fluent on my language at home, and their English is not as mine, of course, but most of the time when they're home they speak in my they speaking my native language. So I managed to keep my language because it's talking to my parents. I talk to my parents for anything, and we just have like one native language, and that's how I don't, that keeps me not forgetting the language. And another thing that keeps me remember the language and keep the culture alive is watching like my native country, like Burundian, like entertainment program, like because most of the time they have their entertainment in the native language. So when I watch it, that keeps my language up to date all the time, and I don't forget, and I keep connected. And when it comes to America, I mean, there's no way you can get away with American culture, no matter where you are, like at school, at work, at the hospital, at your friends, at your house. Like American culture, it's everywhere on your TV, on people you meet, on people you with, your friends, your coworkers. So there's no way you will be like, I ignore this culture because that's culture you're living, So American culture, it would be so hard to be like, oh, I want to get away with that culture. Then how will you get away from the culture that's why you function with all the time? So, and at the same time, the culture that you need in order to operate with their system. So there's no way you can be like, I'm getting away with culture because you need it so you can be able to function here. So that's why I managed to be able to learn as much as I could and do as much as I could so I can fully function just like any American born here. So, and another thing that keeps me maybe like how I gain my American culture and stuff like that. It's about watching TV, watching people and stuff like that, and like making like a friendship, like making friendship, like making friends that are Americans and stuff like that. And so me having like having American friends who are American, that also makes me connected to American culture, because especially now that sometimes I even date like American guys and everything. So that really helps me to have a connection to it and like that. And at the same time, not forgetting where I came from and my culture. So it's good to keep both because it connects you to both worlds. It that in your native culture, whatever native country, and American culture. And you need to know that you need both. You need both, and American is one of and your where you live. It's also why it's in like origin, something that you need so you can use. So that's why it's very good to learn American culture as much as you can, or you can the language and everything, and also keep your culture because there is no such thing of keeping your culture and your identity and knowing where you came from and where you're gonna tell your children and their children pretty much to keep your whatever origin alive and stuff like that, and that's a good thing. And it will be to me, I keep in my culture so one day when I'm going back and to visit, so I can be able to talk to the local and just have a free conversation just like in one of them, that's a good thing. So yeah, that's why you guys, especially nowadays with the technology and the internet days, you can learn a lot of cultures. You can get to know a lot of cultures and how people like are. Like I am black and I'm from Africa and that even America, but I can sometimes know like how the Korean culture is like, or Chinese culture, or Indian culture, or Mexican culture. Like you can know how people are and what language they speak or what kind of food they eat because we are connected, and it's a good thing. And especially now that Africans generation are more like united. I'm not only watching Burundian program or Tanzanian or Rwandan, but I'm also watching like even West African, Nigerians, Ghanaians, South Africans, Zimbabwean, Zambian, Congos, Congo people. So I'm just kind of watching everybody, and I learn from all corners of the world, and I am inspired by different people. So I think that's the that's the good thing about technology, and how we get to learn people and get to know people, and we don't even even never been in that country or that place. And I think that's the days that we are now, that we are connected. So yeah, I just pretty much wanted to tell you guys about how I keep my culture alive, and also manage to have the American culture and that I need right now, because I am African born and African origin, but I live in America. I needed this culture so I can function. So I needed to know and have it, And also I need to keep my culture so I can keep a connection to my roots and everything. So yeah. Another thing is that American culture, it's like a dominant culture. Like, in America, the dominant culture is like, white Americans and African American. Like, those culture are very, very highlighted on TV, like in the people and everything. It's like, it's either you act like a white American, or that you act like a African American. So that's what we know. And the price, it's and there's also the overall American culture, that it's kind of like African American, white American kind of combined, that it's just, you can just tell overall. So, and like American culture, it's a dominant culture, and not only in America but all over the world. You find like people who not even never even come to visit here, but they sort of act like Americans. Like, the way they sing, they dress, they eat, they are values and stuff is sort of like Americanized, and they never been here. So because American culture, it's available to anyone, to anybody all around the world, because it's mainstream. It's on TV, it's on internet, so everybody can kind of imitate and stuff like that. So it's not just for people who even was born here or who live here, but it's even like, it's kind of like a worldwide. It's like American culture. It's like everybody's looking up to it. You get it? That's how I see and that's how I feel. And I don't know if you guys see that too, but that's how it is. Because you find the people who live somewhere and they really, really, really act so Americanized. So why, when you live here, what is your excuse when you live here and think like, oh, you don't want to learn the culture or something? You can learn any culture. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you like it, you're interested in that culture, or you have a connection on that culture. So yeah, other than that, I'll just be like, if you come moving to America, just learn the culture, learn the language, learn it, because that's how you're gonna feel it, and that's how you're gonna feel comfortable. If you're like fully independent, you're able to and you're able to have relationships, and to be independent, to speak for yourself, and do things for yourself. But if you have this coming in your culture somewhere, and you want to just keep like that, and you don't want to learn the language, you don't want to like anything, then it's gonna be hard, and you're not gonna mostly know what's going on around you, and they live here. So I'll recommend that you keep your culture, but at the same time learn the American culture, and have a balance, because you need both of them. So yeah, I do manage to keep both of my cultures, my parents' culture and the American culture, because I have I have African friends, I have African family, I have, someday I'll go back to visit. Who knows? Everybody go to visit, take a vacation, and don't talk to people and stuff. And I have I also need American culture, because that's where I live, and I have friendships with American culture and American people, and I want to be able to feel comfortable with them, and be able to just have a good conversation with them, and kind of be one of them, just like I could be one of the other. You get it? So I want to be able to feel comfortable in both, like that would have been my African culture or American culture, because I need both, because I'm living in both of those culture, and I am loving it. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and go ahead and comment your thoughts down below, and tell me, like, are you balancing to live in two culture like I am? Are you from somewhere else that you live in another culture that you're trying to learn that culture and fit in, and you have another culture that you're trying to keep, and you try to keep both them alive because you don't want to lose your connection to your roots, and also want to learn the culture you live in because you needed that culture, and you needed that culture in order to function and to have a connection with people, and function day to day, every day to day and stuff like that. To tell me about it, and how is it, or do you feel like you value one culture other than the other culture? Do you feel like you want to lose your native culture or adapt to the new culture fully, or do you feel like you want to keep both of them, or do you feel like you don't want to learn the culture of the new country you're in, and you want to just keep your native culture? What do you think is the best? Comment or down below. Do you think losing your culture and learning the fully the culture is good, or keeping them, it's both of them is good, or keeping your culture and not learn the culture that you live in? So tell me what you think is the best, because for me, I feel like if you can keep both of them, it's very wonderful, because these days everybody want to learn more than one language. Of course, you can go a long way with just speaking English, because English is like international language. But at the same time, it's also beautiful to have a second language that you speak, or even third, or even fourth. And nothing wrong with that, because then if you have those language, you can connect it to more than that people, more than one culture and stuff like that, and it's good. So yeah, comments down below or good stuff. Thumbs up this video if you like it, and share it with your friends and family, and turn on notification and subscribe so you can easily get my new videos every time when I upload. Other than that, I will catch you next time. For another topic. Thank you so much, and bye bye. Bye.